Imagine this. You've just let someone in, someone you care about deeply. You thought it would be different this time. You thought maybe this time you wouldn't get hurt. But there's a familiar ache that rises in your chest. A whisper telling you to brace for disappointment. You push away your own joy, your own hope, even before it fully blooms. You break your own heart first, not out of malice, but as a shield, as a subconscious way to protect yourself from pain you feel is inevitable. You might not even realize it, but millions of people do this every day. They love cautiously, they invest partially, they hold back pieces of themselves, all because somewhere deep down, they've learned that heartbreak is unavoidable. Today, we're diving into the psychology behind this behavior, why some people sabotage their own emotional fulfillment before anyone else has a chance to. Think about it. Why would someone preemptively inflict pain on themselves? Why would they reject the very happiness they secretly crave? What drives this paradoxical behavior, where the heart protects itself by breaking itself first? The answer lies in a complex web of early experiences, cognitive patterns, self-beliefs, and emotional conditioning. It's not weakness. It's not selfishness. It's an intricate survival mechanism, a strategy your mind and heart developed to survive past trauma, disappointment, and unmet expectations. Many people carry these patterns from childhood. Perhaps they grew up in an environment where love was conditional, where affection came and went unpredictably. Maybe they learned that showing vulnerability led to ridicule, neglect, or betrayal. As a result, the adult brain encodes the idea that opening up fully is unsafe. Happiness becomes a double-edged sword, beautiful but risky. Love becomes intoxicating but dangerous. They might unconsciously test every situation before committing emotionally, asking themselves, will I be hurt if I try? Even in relationships where partners are kind, supportive, and trustworthy, the internalized fear whispers, better to protect yourself now than be devastated later. And so, they create distance, they sabotage closeness, they push away opportunities for deep connection before anyone else can. The neurobiology behind this is fascinating. When a person anticipates emotional pain, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, activates. Even before the experience happens, the brain signals a danger alert. Oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, is often paired with anxiety rather than comfort in these individuals. Their reward system, which should signal pleasure and connection, is overridden by anticipatory fear. This creates a loop. They crave connection, but the mere thought of potential heartbreak triggers a self-protective response. Early relational experiences also shape these behaviors profoundly. If a child witnessed inconsistency in caregivers, affection given and withdrawn unpredictably, they might learn to preemptively reject intimacy. If a teenager endured betrayal from friends or first loves, they could adopt a pattern of emotionally cutting themselves off first. The lesson is clear. Controlling the pain, even in small ways, feels safer than risking total vulnerability. Then there's the role of perfectionism and idealized standards. Many people who break their own hearts first have an internal critic that scrutinizes every interaction. I'm not good enough, the voice whispers. I'll fail them. I'll let them down. I'm not lovable. This internalized self-judgment leads to behaviors designed to confirm their fears before anyone else can. Essentially a preemptive strike against imagined disappointment. Emotional self-sabotage can manifest in subtle ways. They might avoid deep conversations, cancel dates, pick fights over trivial matters, or withdraw emotionally at moments of intimacy. In every case, the underlying mechanism is the same. They are trying to maintain a sense of control over potential emotional pain. Ironically, these protective measures often result in the very isolation or heartbreak they fear. Attachment styles in adulthood can further explain these tendencies. Individuals with anxious avoidant or fearful avoidant attachment often oscillate between craving connection and withdrawing from it. Their brain is wired to anticipate abandonment, so they act first to protect themselves. This can appear confusing to partners who see mixed signals. Warmth followed by sudden withdrawal, love shadowed by fear. Self-awareness varies. Some individuals consciously recognize their pattern and feel frustrated with themselves. Others are completely unaware, thinking their actions are logical or necessary, unaware of the deep psychological currents guiding them. Therapy, journaling, and reflection can help uncover these patterns, providing insight into why the heart repeatedly chooses self-sabotage over trust. Over time, repeated self-inflicted heartbreak can shape beliefs about love and life. People start to assume that pain is inevitable, that emotional risks are too dangerous to take. This mindset can extend beyond romance, affecting friendships, career ambitions, and personal dreams. The protective mechanism that once kept them safe as a child now limits adult fulfillment. Understanding the psychology behind breaking one's own heart first is empowering. Once you identify the patterns, you can start creating alternative strategies. Mindfulness, emotional regulation, self-compassion, and safe experimentation in relationships are all tools to gradually dismantle these self-protective behaviors. Consider the story of Alex, who consistently ended relationships prematurely. Each time he felt close to someone, anxiety surged, and he would fabricate reasons to leave, convince himself the other person would eventually hurt him, or distance himself emotionally. After years of repetition, he began therapy, exploring his childhood experiences of inconsistent parental affection and early betrayals from friends. Slowly, he learned to sit with discomfort, tolerate vulnerability, and recognize the difference between imagined threats and actual harm. Over time, he allowed himself to experience connection fully without preemptively inflicting heartbreak. Similarly, Mia had a pattern of pursuing partners who were emotionally unavailable. She would idealize them and then end the relationships when intimacy deepened, citing reasons that masked her fear of emotional pain. Through self-reflection, she discovered that her parents had high expectations and were emotionally critical. Her brain had associated closeness with judgment and rejection. By consciously challenging these beliefs, practicing self-compassion, and embracing small steps of trust, she learned to stay present in relationships without sabotaging herself. Breaking one's own heart first is not inherently a flaw. It's a learned coping mechanism. But recognizing it allows transformation. Understanding the triggers, past trauma, attachment insecurity, perfectionism, self-doubt, empowers individuals to act differently. They can pause before withdrawing, communicate fears, and gradually experiment with vulnerability in controlled, safe ways. The journey is not quick, and setbacks are normal. Old patterns are persistent because they were shaped over years of experience. But incremental growth, allowing oneself to feel fear, sadness, joy, and hope simultaneously, builds resilience. Each time a person resists the urge to preemptively pull away, they strengthen new neural pathways that associate intimacy with safety rather than inevitability of pain. Emotional self-sabotage also intersects with societal and cultural messaging. Many people internalize narratives like, "Don't expect too much from love," or "Better to be alone than disappointed." These societal lessons amplify personal fears and reinforce patterns of self-protection. Recognizing and challenging these narratives is crucial for emotional growth. At its core, this behavior reveals profound sensitivity. People who break their own hearts first often experience emotions more intensely. They feel love, connection, and joy deeply, which makes the prospect of loss even more frightening. Their caution is a reflection of their capacity to feel, not a lack of courage. The goal is to channel this sensitivity into adaptive strategies rather than avoidance. Practical steps to begin this transformation include mindfulness exercises to recognize emotional triggers, journaling to uncover subconscious fears, gradually taking relational risks in safe contexts, practicing self-affirmations to reinforce self-worth, and building supportive networks that encourage vulnerability without judgment. Reflecting on these patterns in daily life can be revelatory. When you notice the impulse to withdraw from connection, pause and ask, am I reacting to a real threat, or am I preemptively protecting myself from imagined pain? This subtle awareness is the first step toward breaking the cycle. It's essential to remember that transformation is gradual. The brain needs repeated evidence that vulnerability is safe. Each moment of emotional courage rewires neural circuits, allowing the heart to experience love without sabotaging itself first. Over time, self-inflicted heartbreak diminishes, and genuine intimacy becomes possible. Ultimately, the psychology of breaking one's own heart first is a story of survival, protection, and adaptation. While it may have started as a defense mechanism, it need not define the present or future. By understanding the why behind the behavior, individuals can embrace love fully, experience emotional fulfillment, and allow themselves to be seen without preemptive self-harm. The heart's capacity to heal is profound. Each time you pause, reflect, and choose connection over avoidance, you teach yourself a new lesson. Vulnerability can coexist with safety, and love can exist without inevitable heartbreak. You can honor your past patterns while creating a future filled with authentic emotional experiences. Every preemptive heartbreak carries a message. Listen to it, understand it, and respond with compassion toward yourself. In doing so, you transform a protective mechanism into a bridge toward deeper connection, not a wall of isolation.